A key part of the national recommendations for exercise is at least 75 minutes of high intensity exercise or 150 minutes of moderate exercise every week. In addition, it is also recommended to have at least 2 sessions during the course of the week for muscle strengthening or weight training exercises, right? So a lot of us read these and we go, how do we practically incorporate this into our daily life? So this is meant to be a practical translation from the guidelines of what do you do, quote unquote, tomorrow morning. So there are 2 main components to think about. The first is to stop unhealthful behaviors, and secondly, to start healthy behaviors, right? On the first topic, we won't dwell on that today, but the 3 elements of that, I use a mnemonic for it called Stop It SAM. SAM stands for stopping smoking, A stands for stopping excess alcohol, and M stands for stopping unhealthy or mentally unhealthy behaviors. And what are those mentally unhealthy behaviors? They can be easily remembered by 3 C's. That's stopping to criticize, complain, and compare. Coming to how do you start a healthy routine or healthful behaviors? So there are 2 main components of this. One is to have a regular early morning routine of healthy activity. We'll get to that in a second. And second is a healthy diet. On the healthy diet, we have a separate video that I will link to this video, but today's intent is primarily to schedule and then to maintain a healthy morning routine. The first principle to think about starting a healthy morning routine is to be able to sleep early so that you're able to get up early in the morning to be able to initiate the schedule. Now you might ask, what's special about the morning? There are many reasons a morning schedule is more likely to work, with some exceptions, which we will get into. But the reason a morning schedule works well is there are least distractions at that time. Secondly, your willpower is at its highest in the morning, and then during the course of the day begins to dwindle. So there are some exceptions to this. Needless to say, if you have a job that doesn't allow you to be able to have a routine in the morning, that's absolutely fine to have it at a different time of the day. Or you're truly not a lark but an owl and you want to have a schedule that works at a different time and you want some flexibility. That's okay, with one caveat, which is to make sure that it is the same time of the day or night, right? It can't be one time one day, another time another day. And the reason for that is once you have a regular schedule for a certain time, you're more likely to follow it. And it's said that it takes approximately 21 days of continuing a daily habit to be able to then get it firmly incorporated into your schedule, so you're less likely to stop that activity. So with those in mind, you've set up the same time. So let's say that time for me is 5:30 in the morning, or for you, it might be 9 o'clock at night. The first step is to make sure that you remove barriers from the way. Everything should be in place so that the moment you think about getting started, if it's at 5:30 in the morning, then exactly at 5:30, you're out of the bed and essentially you count to 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get started on this routine, right? If it's the night, it's the same thing. Remove the barriers. If you are going to run, have your shoes ready, have your socks ready. Everything is all set, so there's no barrier and you don't have time to think about, should I do this? Should I not do this? So what are the components of the daily routine? For me, it's basically 3 things. Meditation for 10 minutes, a quick stretch for 5 minutes, and then high intensity interval training exercise for 15 minutes. So that's the triad that gets you essentially 30 minutes of activity that is well known by good medical evidence to be helpful in a whole variety of ways, which is for a different topic maybe. Now, once you get set with these 3 over a period of time, you may want to add 2 more days in the week, maybe that's the weekend, of more specific weight training which is the subject of another video that we will have linked to this video. So with that, let's get started with how do you execute the schedule for 30 minutes. So the first 10 minutes, you get up, and then I sit down in a quiet location, put my headphones or my earphones on, and then I put on meditative music that has almost an exact duration of about 10 minutes. Anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes is fine. Links to such videos are found in the comment section of this video. When you get started with meditation, the intent primarily is that while the music is playing, the principles are you're closing your eyes, and with a quiet mind, you're essentially focused inward. You're thinking, and the best way to focus inward is to be able to focus on your breath. Closing your eyes in a location that's quiet, closing your eyes, taking a nice deep breath in, and then exhaling all the way out, and keeping yourself focused on noticing this breath. So why is that important? The sole reason that's important is it allows you to focus on something other than the thoughts that may come in and out of your mind. Now, invariably, those thoughts will come in and out and will interrupt this flow. The key is to notice them and allow them to drift. They will come. You will not be completely still, and don't get flustered by this. These thoughts will come, but allow them to come and sort of bounce off. Notice them and allow them to go, coming right back to your breath. Another technique that allows you to stay focused inward is what's called a body scan. Starting from the head, working your way down to the eyes, to the face, to the neck, and then working your way all the way down to different parts of your body, noticing that part of the body and how that part of the body feels. So you may end up finding that a certain facial muscle seems very tight, and you might want to attempt to relax that a little bit. What's that doing? It's essentially focusing inward on your body, on your breathing, on your mind, and so on and so forth. And as random thoughts come in about what may happen today or what may have happened yesterday, allow them to come in and drift away. That's the intent for those 10 minutes, right? Another technique that people use toward the end of that 10-minute period is to be able to provide gratitude for something that may have happened yesterday or today or for a person, right? So that's what I do. I put my headphones on, I turn the music on, and for 10 minutes I'm sitting still, reflecting and very quietly inward focusing myself for about 10 minutes. When this period is done, then I like to do approximately 5 minutes of simple stretches. So for my quick stretch routine, a few minutes, right? Simply to get myself loosened up, I do a few repetitions, approximately 5 to 10 repetitions of key body parts: my neck, my arms, my hands, and my legs, and my feet. That gets me kind of going, right? So right after that, I get straight into high intensity interval training, which is almost exactly 15 minutes long, and I simply turn the video on and follow the directions on the video. The video that I have linked in the bottom serves a very good purpose. Is it perfect? None of them is, but is it a wonderful start? Absolutely yes. And what that's able to do for you is not only does it get you into an active mode of aerobic exercise, it also strengthens your core muscles and also allows some degree of what I call natural weight training. So for example, when you do push-ups, instead of lifting weights, that is able to provide strengthening of your upper arm muscles, right? So that's the intent. So in a balanced way, you can get started with this form of exercise, and in approximately 30 minutes, you're able to fulfill all of the key elements of both aerobic exercise as well as muscle strengthening exercises. So as you can see, in approximately half an hour every morning or at any time of the day, you've been able to do all the three things: quietly still your mind, secondly, stretching yourself a little bit, and then jumping right into what I call a HIT schedule that allows all the key components of aerobic exercise, stretching, and some degree of strength training. Now, a few practical tips when you do the HIT schedule or any form of active exercise when you're beginning, right? You may find that certain elements of the exercise, particularly to begin with, you're simply unable to do, or you might find that a certain body part, in my case, in one particular part of the HIT, the back begins to bother me quite a lot. And when that begins to happen, the key is to be able to go into a position, typically the fetal position, and I have that outlined right here, is to be able to go into the fetal position. That allows you to kind of take some quick rest, right, before you get restarted again. Secondly, let's say after the exercise, a particular body part begins to hurt you a lot. One technique to be able to get around that is to be able to use a roller that I've showed here, where you can simply sort of baby that body part using the roller. Thirdly, there are certain exercises that consistently cause you pain to the extent that the pain lasts and it's not going away, and you don't want to continue doing that exercise. And in that situation, you might want to substitute that part of the HIT with another activity.